To build wealth, you must first change your behavior. Today, we will begin our discussion of personal finance with an introduction. I am going to draw inspiration from a book that I feel strongly about, which is The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. This book is an excellent place to begin if you are interested in contemplating your mentality toward money. 80% of personal finance is behavior, and 20% is information. The emotional, the relational, the familial history, the socioeconomic, and the spiritual are all factors that are taken into consideration while analyzing individual behavior. Every single conditioning that you possess. To what extent have you ever been exposed to the tale of the three little pigs? A house was constructed by one individual using straw, another using twigs, and a third using bricks. When their brother was taking a significant amount of time and effort to make the house right, the two people who were responsible for its construction swiftly made fun of him. However, when the wind and storms arrived, the two people who only took the short term into consideration ended up moving in with their brother, who was ready to weather the storm. A similar analogy can be applied to the economic crisis that occurred in the United States in 2008. At this point, what is the lesson? What you should take up from this is that your financial approach and principles should be effective in both good and bad times. The fact that your financial strategy is only successful when everything is moving up is a terrible sign for your financial approach. Every turkey can fly in a tornado is a statement that I adore. 80% of winning money is based on behavior, and 20% is based on head knowledge. What to do is not the issue. What is the issue is action. Realizing that there is an issue is 90% of the way to correct it. One of the challenges I have for you is to locate a mirror. Have a look in the mirror. Take a close look at it. What exactly do you observe? The individual you are currently observing is both the source of your issues and the answer to those problems. Assuming that your financial situation is not in order, who is to blame? Employer, family member, or partner? No way. If you have an issue with your money, it is you. It is up to you to determine your destiny. And even if the circumstance you find yourself in is not your fault, as Will Smith puts it, you still must find a solution to the problem. After I realized that the person I saw in the mirror was the source of all of my financial issues, concerns, and shortages, my life began to change. Let me ask you this. Are you living in a state of denial now? Are you blaming your current financial situation on someone else, rather than accepting responsibility for it? You must have a focused intensity, a life or death intensity, to attain greatness in the realm of finance. Resetting your patterns of spending money is accomplished in this manner. You must decide that things are going to change once you have looked in the mirror. I am aware that it is difficult to put off pleasure to achieve a better outcome. On the other hand, isn't that an indication of maturity? It is a symptom of immaturity to want something and want it right now. But it is also a part of human nature to want anything. It is a sign of maturity to be willing to put off pleasure to achieve a more significant result. When you look in the mirror, it is crucial to remember that it is difficult to resist the fact that you are physically overweight. This is another important factor to keep in mind. On the other hand, if you open your eyes, you will see yourself. You can close your eyes. On the other hand, if you are financially obese, you can pretend to be thin and look wonderful for several days. For a short period, the people around you might imagine that you are genuinely affluent. Zig Ziglar has a story that goes as, if you put a frog into water that is boiling, it will immediately jump out of the water because it will feel discomfort. If, on the other hand, you place a frog in water that is at a normal temperature, it will swim around contentedly. It is not going to be able to detect the temperature change when you gradually bring the water to a boil. The slow alteration is what ultimately leads to the death of the frog. Because it teaches us that we can lose our health, fitness, and money one day at a time. This is one of the pieces of literature that I find particularly compelling. Who or what is the adversary of quality? Is it in fact the worst? No way. In other words, it is the just fine or the good enough. Alteration is agonizing. There are not many people who have the bravery to look for change. Up until the point that the agony of where there exceeds the anguish of change, the majority of individuals will not change. According to Dave Ramsey, when it comes to how we handle our finances, we can be like a toddler who is wearing a dirty diaper. I know it smells bad, but it's warm, and it's mine. You will continue to achieve the same effects if you continue to participate in the same activities. You have arrived at the current financial situation that you are in as a result of the decisions that you have made up to this point in time. Your circumstances make it difficult for you to overcome your denial, which is another challenge, because you refuse to live in the same manner as everyone else. You will cause inconvenience for your family. When I originally told my grandmother that I was going to start investing, she told me that I was crazy and that I would end up losing all of my money. At one point in his life, Albert Einstein observed that great minds have frequently been met with ferocious opposition by weak minds. Two money-related lies are as denial of risk and the belief that complete safety is attainable, taking shortcuts, acquiring cash quickly, and searching for a secret to riches. The first thing to note is that security does not exist. One example of false security that simply does not exist is the concept of secure employment. There is no such thing as a secure job because you could be dismissed at any time. The second place, there is no short way to becoming wealthy, and if you want to get wealthy, you will have to tolerate some level of risk. The person who told you that they discovered a wonderful strategy to invest and become a millionaire in 1 month is not someone you should believe with your heart. One of the oldest myths in the history of the human species is easy money. And no, a buddy of mine informed me that it is hard to make rapid money for an extended length of time. When it comes to short-term investments, such as Dogecoin, it is possible to have luck. But to do so, you need to be able to deal with the financial market. There are no secrets kept by wealthy individuals. They take on the challenging tasks. It is not difficult to live a good life, rather, it is challenging. It is not luck that brings money, rather, it is energy, knowledge, and diligence that bring it about. The realization of this was excruciating for me, since there was a part of me that desired to become wealthy in a short amount of time, such as by purchasing lottery tickets. We live in a world where there is enough, and because of this, we can be tempted to believe that everything will be fine at all times. Is that not a lie? It is up to you to make things okay, else they won't be okay. It is up to you to determine both your dignity and your future. When it comes to retirement planning, companies in Italy are required by law to set away a certain amount of money for their employees. However, if you ask me, leaders do not leave things up to chance. When it comes to your retirement, you are in charge. We must amass wealth, not wealthy in terms of our financial situation, but wealthy in terms of our mentality. The difference between being broke and being poor is what exactly? Throughout my life, I have been broke, but I have never been poor, as Dave Ramsey puts it. Lack of wealth is a mental state. As you bring up your children, instill in them the mindset of an employee by doing things like rewarding them monetarily for reading books by giving them money. Assist them in learning how to save, spend, and donate the money they have. In a subsequent episode, we will go into the concept of rich thinking. Because they lead a reactive lifestyle, very few people are unable to handle their financial matters. This is because they are unable to plan. The only thing that they focus on is the imperative. They go about their daily lives. The Eisenhower Matrix is a topic that is frequently brought up in our conversations with senior leaders. I am certain that you are familiar with it. The Matrix was named after Dwight David Eisenhower, an American Army general and statesman who served as the 34th President of the United States from 1953 to 1961. Eisenhower was born in the United States of America. Which topics would you like to see covered next? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.